Okay, so we'll start with wholeness invocation. So I request everyone, let's sit and be aware of your heart. Put your hands together in front of your heart in the prayer mudra. To the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother, thank you for divine peace. Thank you for divine love, mercy, and grace. We humbly invoke for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for blessing all of us with a healthy and fit body, clear heart and mind, wholesome and correct speech, faithful and grateful soul, on all levels, in all directions, with humility, love, and respect, in full faith. So be it. We'll say the prayer for wholeness. Open your arms to receive, slightly tilt your head forward. May I be a humble servant for the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother, with this whole body, heart, mind, speech, and soul. Gently put your hands in blessing position. May I show compassionate activity towards every person and every being without exception, in the higher, in the middle, in the lower worlds, and in all 10 directions. Gently put your hands together in front of your heart in the prayer mudra. Hallelujah. Shalom. Asheo in full faith. Let's chant Om thrice. Om. 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 Gently put your hands on your lap facing upwards. Close your eyes and we'll meditate together. Gently be aware of your soles of the feet, base of the spine. Visualize golden roots going down deep, deep, deep into Mother Earth. Mentally or verbally just affirm, I'm strongly connected and rooted to Mother Earth. May Mother Earth be blessed, regenerated, revitalized. Blessings be to Mother Earth. May whatever is in excess in my system be released as a blessing to Mother Earth. I'm strongly rooted, grounded, and connected to Mother Earth. I hope you all had a good meditation. The person who mentioned about the pain, is there an improvement? Is there improvement in the pain that you are experiencing? Yes, no, maybe so. A lot of time when we experience pain, we experience it because we don't let go. So it's interesting, if you feel pain, just kind of try to ask yourself that what is that I'm not letting go? Specifically that thing that is not helping me, So yeah. Anyways, let's So, all those who have been regularly there, every time after the meditation, we refer this book, The Wisdom of the Zodiac by the author Torkom. And the last 2 weeks, we have been uh, reading about the Libra constellation because that's how the full moon is in and this constellation impacts. So all those who missed, you can go to the recording and watch the other part. I'm just moving ahead. It's beautiful. So last week when we were reading about it, we kind of understood the journey of the spark from the billions of a quick revision of it, if I have to put in that way. So the author was saying that I'm just not able to find the starting point. So it was like when creation begins, or when the cycle of manifestation is on its way, the central spiritual sun radiates out billions of sparks, and they pass through 49 layers and eventually hit the coldest layers of space, 3 or 4,000 degrees below zero. Part of these sparks condense and freeze and turn into atoms whose nucleus is a fiery space. And this is the moving light seeking rest balance. So it is like we all are that spark, but the physical aspect that we have is the frozen aspect of that spark, which is too much condensed. And then we were just reading and understanding how this moving light, which is in the process of seeking rest and balance, so the spark intention is to build a body through which it can express its own beauty, its original glory in that state of imprisonment. The spark feels that it is out of balance and tries to balance itself with matter. So we read that entire part. I'm not going to read that again. Just to remind all those who were there that this journey of the spark, where the spark enters the vegetable kingdom and then it passed and it became um so it enters the vegetable kingdom and creates a new balance between himself and vegetable form. And then the beauty started radiating in terms of flowers and plants and variety of trees. And the other side of glory of the oneself, from whom it proceeded into space. And then it just mentioned that millions of years passed, and then the moving light, it tries to create a higher balance, and then it enters into animal kingdom, and then eventually the spark enters into the human kingdom and tries to create balance between itself and the physical, emotional, and mental substances, in which way, in such a way that it can organize these substances to let its beauty manifest in higher and higher glory. So, in simpler words, it is like when the spark, that is us, and we are there in this human form, our soul or the spark within us is trying to create such kind of balance where the radiance that we are can radiate out. And we were understanding that from that prayer, or that, I think that's that affirmation or a prayer that says, more radiant than the sun, purer than the snow, subtler than the ether, is the self, the spirit within my heart. I am that self am I. So from the central spiritual sun, from that billions of sparks, we are that spark. But this part that we get stuck with is that part that has come down, 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 so many layers down to a very condensed state. And as the human being, the spark just tries to create balance in all its ways so that it can radiate out its glory, it can radiate out its beauty. Okay. So the author was talking about that balance is health. When there is no balance, there is ill health, emotional problems, mental problems, and diseases. And the Libra constellation, it tries to uh, this energy is such which helps humanity, people, to look within and confront that imbalance aspect in oneself, so that the man strive. And when I'm saying man, it is human, females included, so that we try to restore balance. So the author is saying that if there is balance, then balance manifests as health. And when there is no balance, there only because of the imbalance are the emotional challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges. So, throughout millions of years, the spark tries to learn how to balance its personality vehicles with the inner light. So, it's like throughout the journey of this moving light, the spark is trying to learn how to balance between this material world and the inner light, balance between all the temptations outside and the inner glory and light. So, throughout millions of years, the spark tries to learn how to balance its personality vehicles with the inner light, and it moves on progressively to higher kingdoms. How successful was the labor of the spark to be able to reach the human kingdom and utilize higher matter and substance to build its vehicles? It is like when the spark was in the vegetable kingdom, there was a certain degree of substance. And if you see the plant kingdom, they cannot move, they cannot choose. They are there, they are still serving in the biggest, beautiful possible way, but they do not have the privilege to move or to make choices or to make any kind of difference for themselves. So more or less they are at the mercy of the nature of the surrounding people who would support them or not. Does that make sense to everyone? But then, when that spark further transformed and moved further in the search of seeking balance between its inner light and the outer, then it came into animal kingdom. And animal kingdom, there is mobility, there is that power aspect where there is a food chain where they would fight and they would kill at times to restore. So there is power, there is choice, there is movement, much more than compared to the vegetable kingdom. But then in the human kingdom, especially when it is mentioned that how successful was the labor of the spark to be able to reach the human kingdom and utilize higher matter. Now what is that higher matter? So, if we compare us as humans and the animal kingdom, the higher matter is the ability to think, to, to choose, the ability to have that divine strength in us that I choose that I would do like this or not. I will choose if I want to go ahead with my animal instincts. I will choose that if I will fight or not, if I will kill or not. Does that make sense? With every extension, how to say it, ascension of the consciousness, we have a greater degree of material. But then the success of how successful the spark has been in the labor is seen by how well the higher matter and substance is being built and used in the vehicle. So let's say I don't remember if it was in the archangel meditation or the other session that we are doing there. We were discussing the aspect that not everybody is able to think in a certain way. Okay, let me put it in a very general sense. Have you come across people where you feel that, oh my God, they don't have compassion? They don't feel compassionate enough. How can they be so cruel? Have you met someone, experienced someone where as if they don't know how to be kind? Someone is saying a lot. So if we all are human beings, how can one able to exhibit compassion to such a great degree, but the other is not able to? What is the difference if we are all humans? So there is the difference is of the labor the spark has put to create balance between matter and inner light, meaning to say whatever extra material as the human being we have got. So one spark has developed the higher body with the material, with the refinement of emotions, but the other one has not developed that vibration or that purity. So let's say if every plane has seven subplanes, not every human being has a body in every subplane. Does that make sense? So the coarser the coarser the material is, we all have, but the refiner aspect, we need to put efforts to build it. So when we meditate, when we learn, when we do service and kind acts, slowly and gradually, as if our emotional body and the higher emotions are developing. Not everybody is capable of doing that. Same goes with the mental body. A lot of time we pick a book and it does not make any sense. But to another human being, it is making so much sense. So, what is the difference and the gap? The gap is the person who is able to understand deeply, finer, the higher level of mental body is developed. But majority of us who have not put efforts in terms of understanding or reading, we don't have that layer yet. Is it making sense to everyone? So, in a way, we all have a bare minimum common material as a human being, but we really need to build on it. That is why kids go to school. That is why adults go to spiritual schools. That is why we have communities like this where we are meditating. That is why there are teachers like Thorcombe, like Master Choa, and so many other who bring in the knowledge so that with the knowledge we start developing and building. It is like we all have same material, but not everybody is building. And based on how much we have built, I mean that shows how much of success the spark has experienced. It is so beautiful that how successful was the labor of the spark to be able to reach the human kingdom and utilize higher matter and substance to build its vehicle. So we put labor and build our vehicle bit by bit. Physical aspect we all see very clearly. There are people who are physically so strong, they are so robust, or they are so flexible. They have done it by going to gym or exercising or eating healthy, sleeping healthy. But the same is required for the emotional body, the same is required for the mental body, the same is required for the spiritual body. So whichever body we are putting efforts, we build. Not everybody has all the bodies very strongly there. Not everybody has emotional muscles or mental muscles for that matter. Okay. So the further the author is saying, in the human kingdom, a higher glory is manifested. When the spark reaches a complete balance between the spirit and the matter of the three bodies, it becomes a soul. Now, if I'm reading it correctly, that means not everybody has a soul. I'll read this again. It is revolutionary. In the human kingdom, a higher glory is manifested. When the spark reaches a complete balance between the spirit and the matter of the three bodies. So, complete balance between the spirit that we are, the spark, and let's say the matter of all these three bodies. When the spark reaches a complete balance between the spirit and the matter of the three bodies, it becomes a soul. And probably that's why, though there are so many human beings, but not everybody feels like a human. We do a lot of inhuman acts. Does that make sense? It means a soul in a real essence, absolutely. So we all have that prana, that energy, that life force that flows through, that spark that is there, but not everybody is a human, and that's how there's so much deadly and fierce crime that happens. We still have animalistic tendencies, absolutely. So it is like we have to build our soul so that we don't have to, it is like we don't have to, how to say it? I will give a very common expression of most of us as humans that, oh my God, the world is so bad. It is so difficult to be good. Everybody is corrupt. Everybody is violating the rules. It is very difficult to follow. Have you been in that place? I have. But just imagine, what is that something that feels difficult? Something that I am trying to do that I am not. Correct? If I am good, internally, if goodness is what I am, then there is no effort in being good, right? But if it is taking effort for me to be kind or good, that means I am far away from that essence of me. I identify with the ugliness, I identify with the hatred and the anger so much more that my true essence of the spark, the glory, is just getting dimmer and dimmer because of the layers of identifications with the world, with like a lot of understandings we create in our life. So the author is saying that for the human beings in the human kingdom, the higher glory is manifested, and when the spark reaches a complete balance between the spirit and the matter of the three bodies, it becomes a soul. So, till the matter and the spirit are not in complete balance, we don't even have a proper soul. That's why so many crimes, you know. So ego is identification of the spirit with personality matter. So we are doing this study these days related to healing the roots, and we are trying to understand ego bit by bit. And that is how the author has explained in such a beautiful manner that in simple words, ego is the false identification with something that you are not. So if I identify with myself with this physical body, so I just think that this body is me. So much strong identification, which I am not, then that creates an ego. So let's say if there is a title, okay, the president of the country or the prime minister of the country. So if I identify with that title, you know, which I am not, that creates ego. There we create a lot of identification. I am a good person, I'm a bad person, I cannot do this, I can do this. So all those do's, don'ts, abilities, non-abilities, the mental picture or image that we create for ourselves, that is ego, because it is identifying with something that you are not. So the author is saying that ego is identification of the spirit with personality matter. So we identify with our emotions, we identify with our circumstances, we identify with our cars, with our house, you know. And then if there is any attack to any of these, we feel as if I am being attacked. That's not true. People identify with their respect. And then there comes so much of conflict. How dare you disrespect me? But then who this person is disrespecting? Is the person really able to see you? No. The person is disrespecting this vehicle that the person can perceive. But I feel I am this vehicle, and thus the conflict. Does that make sense? Or it just feels like hocus pocus? Someone is saying, explain that sentence more. This one of the spark. Human soul is on the process of growth, soul's journey from animal to total human, a human which God is intent to build. Yeah. So it is just like that the spark, when it reaches a complete balance between the spirit and the matter of the bodies, it becomes a soul. And ego is the identification of the spirit with personality matter. So in this stage, there is no balance. Soul is identification of the spirit with higher substances. So the author is explaining, the soul from a different perspective, let's say. So soul is identification of the spirit with higher substances, higher mental, buddhic, and atmic substance, creating a balance between higher mental, buddhic, and atmic substance and lower mental, astral, and physical matter. Thus, the personality is in balance with the soul. So it is like we have the higher planes, the higher bodies, and we create the balance there, and we create the balance with the lower aspect. The best representation of it is of two triangles, if you see. So there is one triangle that is upward, and then there is another triangle that is downward. Have you seen that image? The light, love, power aspect at the lower aspect, the light, love, power aspect at the upper aspect. So the author is saying that the soul is actually one both ways, and the spirit connecting with the higher planes in complete balance, and the matter, spirit in the matter 100% in balance with the lower bodies. So it is like the light, love, and power are in complete um, balance, both in the higher aspect and lower aspect. So let's say to logically understand it, if we understand from the perspective of light, love, and power, so how does light manifest at the higher plane? Think. Or let's say, how does light manifest in the lower plane in our day-to-day life? So if I see from the perspective of light, that means there is more clarity, there is better understanding, there is truth, right? There is, does that make sense? It is like when I'm able to see. So when in the lower aspect, when I see, I am not becoming biased. I can see, okay, if you are this, I am this. But same way, this also has the higher correspondence where let's say a person says, the light for me is truth. I live with the higher principles of truth. And the truth is not subjected to that what I am able to understand. So let's say how, according to Master Chua, he says that truth, there are different levels of truth, and how moving on the path of spiritual journey, I understood that truth is truth in totality. When we talk about different levels, it is our understanding level that we are able to perceive at a different way. So for example, as a child, we have this physical body, two hands, two eyes, one nose, two legs. Truth, certain level of truth. When this child grows older, oh, there is a skeleton system, and then there is a muscular system, and then there are bones. Further, there are organs, and then the organs have functionalities. Furthermore, you are so if I say there is a different level of truth, the truth is there every time in totality. Based on where we stand in terms of the light aspect in us, that much of it we can perceive. Does that make sense? So from the light aspect means I am able to perceive and understand the material world, and from the higher aspect I'm able to perceive and understand the divine plan. Okay? Light. How about the love aspect? So when we talk about love aspect, so in the lower aspect, there is concern, care, compassion, understanding. So from the chakra, if we say there's a personal love and then there is universal love. So first we, from the love aspect, we try to understand and then we develop the quality where I love myself and I love you. Okay. Along with the light aspect, I cannot love only myself and I cannot love only you. If I only love myself without that the light aspect, I may be blind with the self-love and I may be very cruel to someone else. But when I have the light aspect in me, I see the same needs that I have, you have. The same rule applies to me and you. So if I want someone kind in my life, I mean, you want the same thing. Does that make sense? That there is similarities where there is compassionate understanding. I am a human being and so are you. Just because you are my mother, it does not make you some supernatural being. You are still human. As a mother, you have your needs. Does that make sense? And as a mother, I understand that as a mother, even I have needs. So my child has needs and I love my child, but as a mother, I have needs and I love myself. There is balance when there is light along with love. Does that make sense to everyone? Same aspect of love, when it goes from the higher aspect, it radiates at a universal level. It does not matter my child, your child. It's a child and the child needs help and I'm there. Does that make sense? There is no biasness. There is no nepotism. There is no I don't know how to say it. It's all fair. But then it is love along with light, both aspects. So I can serve my loved ones with the same enthusiasm, the way I would love anyone else who is so called not blood related or not, as if it is same. But then how about the power aspect, if we see? So the power aspect, all that we are understanding from the light and love, it helps us to exhibit it. So a lot of time people know it mentally. People know it, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is not, this is spiritual. But then it is difficult to do. So all this understanding and qualities that the light and love brings in together, to actually put them into action, we require power. So if I'm talking about truth and I have made mistake and I don't have the inner strength to accept, I don't want to follow what my family has been doing. I don't have the power to stay. I choose differently. So the power aspect is kind of all the qualities love and light brings in. You have to use it, right? So to use it, to manifest it, there comes the power. So both the aspect from the lower aspect related to how the physical world works, and from the higher aspect, how the inner world works. When there is complete balance in both aspects, there is the perfect soul. Not exactly the perfect soul, but there is how the soul is there in existence. So the author is saying that ego is identification of the spirit with personality matter. In this stage, there is no balance, but soul is identification of the spirit with higher substances, higher mental buddhic and atmic substance, creating a balance between higher mental buddhic and atmic substance and lower mental astral and physical matter. Thus, the personality is in balance with the soul. As above, so below. So I have higher principles. I understand the law of nature, how it works, law of karma, law of vibration, law of cycles, all the laws. And in the physical reality, I live by them. The balancing process continues throughout ages and for many incarnations. Of course, what we are trying to understand, it is just to understand it feels difficult, right? Oh my God, that's a lot. And we are just giving few example. It goes for everything, every aspect. Can you do anything just with love? Let's say cooking. Everybody does. Either you are at the eating end or the cooking end. Can you just cook only with love? You need the light. You need to know which ingredient how much. You need the power, the strength, so that you can bring the utensils. Every time, all these three aspects are there manifesting through us. But they need to be manifested with purity, in balance. So if love is more, oh my God, it's too much of sugar. If light is more, probably, oh my God, that's too hard. You're very straightforward. It is hurtful. Why can't you be so kind? Oh, I'm just telling the truth. It hurts. Too much power, you don't allow me to be. You impose your will. We all go through it every single moment. Every single moment. All these three aspects, right from getting up from the bed. Anytime, if you notice and observe, all these three are in place. Sometimes one is more, sometimes one is less. Sometimes love is required more, sometimes light is required more. Think of it, a surgeon. What about just the only love aspect? How will that do the surgery? There needs to be a balance of love and compassion to save that being, but the light, knowledge, and the power to see whatever is there. It requires courage. Mhm. So all these three aspects. So the balancing process continues throughout ages and for many incarnations until the solar angel leaves and man enters masterhood. So we all have solar angel who keeps on, kind of inspiring us or guiding us so that we can go on the path of retaining more balance, more balance. Balance in what? Between the spirit and so between the inner light, let's say, between the inner light and everything that is outside, the matter. So the balance between these two. So the balancing process continues throughout ages and for many incarnations until the solar angel leaves and man enters masterhood. So solar angel leaves when you do not need somebody else to be in balance. when you don't need somebody else to remind you, okay, Kim, you are going there, going here, when you don't need the karmic, like there is no planetary influence required for you to say, okay, this is Libra, I need to confront. Oh, I confront myself every day. It is same, how we say when the student is ready, teacher appears. When the student is really ready, the teacher disappears. You do not need me anymore. So throughout ages, throughout incarnations, we continue in the balancing process until the solar angel leaves and man enters masterhood. A master is a person who was able to release his solar angel and not only achieve balance upon his personality, but also create a personality out of his higher mind and intuitional and atmic bodies. So it is like a master is that person who has released the solar angel, as if you don't need to bother about me. I am I am fine to continue to live with glory of my true spark. So master is a person who was able to release a solar angel and not only achieve balance upon his personality, but also create a personality out of his higher mind and intuitional and atmic bodies. In this stage, a higher glory manifests through him. I think the best example I could give, which we all know, is of Christ or of Lord Buddha. Not just the control or the mastery over the physical matter, but also the mastery and a higher kind of glory can manifest through them. How Christ could just do miracles. How Lord Buddha, had so many miraculous stories. Even the change the people experience when they come in contact. So it is like this is the sign when a human has entered into the state of masterhood, a higher glory manifests through him. Compare a perfected human being and an atom, then you will see how far the spark has advanced on the path leading to home or to the central glory in cosmos. So the author is saying to just understand the journey, compare the human being to an atom and see just from being an atom, look around the world and look around us, how much human has have created. Even we were understanding that how that same spark was manifesting in different variety of leaves and flowers, and then different variety of animals on the land, in the sky, under the water, and then humans, and then the things, all those discoveries and the inventions and whatnot. So he says that compare a perfected human being and an atom, then you will see how far the spark has advanced on the path leading to home or to the central glory in cosmos. So it is our journey of walking on the path of seeking balance, and I think that's it. That's it for today. There's something else, but maybe we have one more week. We will read that next time. So though full moon peak time has gone, but still use these energies of Libra constellation and look within and confront, where do I lie? Where do I stand in terms of physically, emotionally, mentally? How much balance do I have? How many times do I feel balanced, and which all are the areas where I just go into extremes? If you notice, it's a beautiful journey. We all live like pendulums, sometimes this kind of extreme, then this kind of extreme. So how the pendulum goes from the farthest of extreme to lower, to lower, to lower. So I think the best way to like judge or observe our progress is to see how far we go from the center. You will notice in your journey, if you compare your own older self, you will see that now the imbalance is not that extreme. So, okay, earlier I used to, just bombard with anger. Now the anger comes, but okay, it is not that bad. So as if I'm still swinging, but my swing is becoming less and less and less till the time we are not swinging at all. We are just established in balance and achieve masterhood, where we say, okay, solar angel, thank you for serving us for so long. You can just take care of someone else. I am balanced enough. I hope the sharings help, the book help to help everyone introspect and see and try to achieve that. Oh yeah, we'll share the recordings. We share the recordings. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you everyone. Is Om Mani Padme Home team already here? I am not able to see. Can you raise hands? Garaju, you're in the team, right? The recording is shared in the YouTube. We will share. So from where you have got the this link of Archangel meditation, we will share in the same groups. The recording will be shared. So okay, thank you so much. Over to the Om Mani Padme Home team, and they will continue ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.